Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Front Door Show brought to you by Four Fantasy Events. I'm your host, DJ Prieto. And every day at 8 o'clock, about 8 o'clock, we do guests that we bring in. And that guest will be someone who is in the music industry, being a DJ, promoter, artist, all the way from the guys who have done it from back in the days of 50 years ago to guys that have been doing it just yesterday. Today, I have DJ Manny G. What's happening, man?
What's going on, Prieto? How are you?
Good, good, good. Now, do me a favor, as I'm going to set up this watch party from my side. If you could do me a favor and introduce yourself, any websites, anything you got as far as what you got to introduce yourself and tell people who you are.
Yeah, my name is Manny Garcia. I go by DJ Manny G. You can find me at DJ Manny G23 on Instagram, Facebook. My Snapchat is Vida312DJs because that's my company for any weddings, quinceañeras, corporate events, stuff like that. I normally haven't really been using my DJ Manny G lately. I go everything by Vida312DJs. So that's where you guys can find me at.
All right, cool. So let me ask you a first question, because people might not know you, because I know you.
Yeah.
When did you start actually DJing? When?
I started DJing probably, I think I started at 15. I always been with music. So even like my parents, like when I was like 10, 8 years old, I wanted the boom boxes. I wanted the Discmans, all those gadgets and stuff like that. And eventually my dad, for my 15th birthday, he bought me my whole setup. He bought me my CD players, the mixer, speakers to do parties and stuff like that. And then I just started DJing, and then my first opportunities were for homecoming at my high school. I went to San High School.
So that was 5 years ago, right?
I wish, right? I just turned 38 on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. So, but yeah, I started doing homecomings. When I first wanted to start a DJing, I told my dad that I wanted to do like house music and hip hop. And my dad's like, nah, you don't do house and hip hop. You got to do Latin, and you're not going to get any gigs and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, he convinced me to do Latin. And that's how I started, just doing homecomings.
When you say Latin, what were you kind of gearing towards? What was that?
I was playing like cumbia, like merengue, salsa. I remember in those days it was a lot of cumbia. Like I used to hang around with like sonidero people.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the first parties that I went to where I actually saw people like talking on the mic and playing music. So I kind of got into that, but then I started shifting away from that, and and then me and Louis, DJ Focus, people know him by that. We started doing weddings and quinceañeras, and since I like to talk on the mic, I would talk on the mic, and he would just play the music.
So that was what? Okay, so and I want to make sure where we're at in this. Was it vinyl, CDs, or computer?
I started with CDs.
Okay.
Like I said, I wanted to do hip hop and house music. I wanted to do turntables, but my dad's like, dude, where are you gonna find records? He's like, everything shifting to CDs. So I was like, all right. So he convinced me to that. So I started with CDs, but eventually I moved to just vinyl.
So this is mid '90s, am I correct? This is about mid '90s, and he was right.
Yeah. He was. Like, dude, you're not gonna find any Latin music on vinyl. I was like, well, I don't want to do Latin music. He's like, well, you're gonna have to if you want to get paid. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, so that's right. I mean, just say that your dad's a smart guy. Trust me.
So yeah.
So you came at the time when also there was the mixtape industry was big.
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
right?
That's how I got into house music, because like I used to live on Clark and Morris, and on Clark and Tui, there used to be that Clark Mall. I don't know if you remember that mall.
Oh, yeah, I used to sell my mixtapes there.
All your stuff was there too. But I used to buy all the hot mix tapes, the Eddie B House, all those house music ones, and then sometimes I would go there. and I would be looking for like, I don't know, like Hot Mix 17. They're like, oh, we sold out, but we got this freestyle CD. And I'm like, ah, nah, bro, I'm too young for freestyle. I'm not in love yet. Or try to get there, you know? So, but yeah, that's
So,
pretty much.
so you grew up in the very north side, is what by
Yeah.
what you call way
Yeah.
north.
I grew up on
Compared to
Clark and Morse. And then,
right, compared to like compare. I was
yeah,
gonna say almost like I think Luis Seguera was from that area too, right?
yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah. Uh, yeah, and then eventually I moved to Peterson and Western, which is not far from there. So I pretty much
Not
all
far
my
from
life.
where I
Yeah.
live.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. I lived here all my life on the north side.
nice,
So, but yeah,
nice. So you were doing mostly the quinceañeras, yeah. Again, if the, what I understand, that was kind of your first,
yeah,
and you did that with Focus. Is that
yeah,
right? Or and you guys kind of grew up together. Is that
yeah.
where
Me
you were
and
kind of
Louis,
doing?
we met each other probably. I was like probably like 17. He's a little younger than me, like year and a half or two, I think. And we pretty much grew up together. And then his brother like DJing too, so he had the turntables. And so we will go to Lewis's basement and we'll practice. The fucking songs will end and we still didn't blend them. So we kind of like learn how to DJ together, you know. But
Right,
yeah, no, we got started doing those kind of gigs.
right. And then where do you gravitate to actual DJ, not the
Yeah.
quinceañeras and stuff like that? Where do you?
So man, like when we were doing those quinceañeras, you know, those parties are like high pressure. You know, like they demand this, they want that. So I remember the last quinceañera. I know it was a wedding. The last party that we did, like as a mobile thing, and we had the dance floor packed, and the father of the lady that got married came up to me and said, "Hey man, can you play some norteñas?" And I'm like, "All right." So I played it. Dance floor dies. I'm like, "Oh shit!" So then I switch it back to something else. Dance floor gets packed again. And then like 20 minutes later, the dad comes again and he's like, "Hey bro, what's up, man? You didn't play the norteñas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did," and nobody danced. He's like, "No, play him again." So I was like, "All right."
That's because he's the one paying for it.
Yeah. So I played it again and the dance floor dies again. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I switch it. The third time he came, he didn't even come to me. He just looked for the power strip that had the most electricity and he just yanked it out. And then I was at that point I told Louis, like, let's pack it up. That's it. And that was my last gig. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I'm gonna keep DJing, but I'm only gonna play the music that I want to hear, you know.
Right, right.
So I stopped DJing for like 5 years until I was like 22, and I
Okay.
was only playing house music. I got a bunch of like guest spots at Martini Ranch, Centra. You remember? I don't know if you remember. They used to do those house parties on Fridays, and I would be in the little room, you know, because I was like a guest DJ. But I refused to play anything besides house music at that point. And then I don't know if you know Hector Hot Mix.
Yeah, yes, Hector, I
So
know
Hector
Hector.
Hot Mix was on V5, and then I remember one day I was out with my wife, and he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, bro, V5 just opened up a new gig. It's called Jet Vodka Lounge. It was around by Crowbar. I don't know if you ever saw
Mhm.
that place." And
Yeah, one of the DJs was, I think he managed there a little bit.
well, when I was there, well, okay, so the story was he called me and then he's like, my boy Julio Sierra is the promoter there. He's part of V5, and you know they're looking for a loungy place, so they only want house music. So I was like, shit. I was like, that fits my spot. So I get there, and he had Martin the Boogeyman Luna and Hector Lopez. Remember Hector Lopez?
Yeah,
He used to work at Gramophones. And so I get there, and he's like, "Oh, you know, just chill by this table. You want any drinks?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I didn't get to play that day because the other guys were playing. So I was like, whatever. So the next week he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, bro, this time I really need you. You know, can you come down?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I banged out a set, and I was in. That's when I
right.
started DJing again on the nightclub scene. And then
It was it was DJ Shadow that was there as well.
Shadow? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
DJ
He
Shadow.
might have been there on
Black guy. As a,
I was
he
there on a
worked for
Saturday.
V5 for a little bit. Maybe
Oh,
it was
he
on a
worked for
Saturday.
V5?
Yeah, he
No,
worked for V5, so I know he was worked there.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, so I think he worked there on a Saturday night there. But again, I remember it was a kind of a loungy. It wasn't the biggest.
Yeah, the place was super nice. It only fit like 80 people.
Right.
It was shaped like an airplane, so it was round,
Right.
and it had LEDs inside the walls everywhere.
Right. I
So,
remember that.
so yeah, then I started DJing there, and then, and since it was kind of like a V5 event, Green Eyes hits me up one day, and he's like, "Hey, bro, one of the DJs at Transit called off in the back room. He's like, do you want to DJ?" And I was like, well, yeah. So then I get there and I'm like, what do you guys play? And then he's like, oh, we'll play hip hop. He's like, why don't you play that house that you normally used to play at Jet Vodka Lounge? So I played that, and then fucking Frank was there. He calls Green. He's like, hey, who is this guy? And then he's like, oh, it's his name's Manny G, and he works with you at Jet Vodka Lounge. He's like, oh, so ask him if he wants to DJ here every week too and shit. So that was it. I was a resident DJ at Transit for 3 years, I think, in the background.
All right. So that was early 2005. Is that about when you were there?
Yeah, around that time, yeah. And then eventually they moved me to Centra on Saturdays. So I was doing Fridays over there, then Centra on Saturdays.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. But I did a lot of moves. Like, you know, I like V5 and everything, but man, like, they were so picky. You couldn't DJ for anybody else but them. So if you were V5, that's it. You cannot do a guest spot anywhere. Well, at that time, because now I see a lot of DJs, you know, they play with them, but they also play somewhere else, and you know, they don't care anymore.
Well, back then it was I was a different kind of promoter, so that was different for me because I would invite so many DJs to work with me and so many guys to work with me. So I didn't have that protective attitude. If the DJ wanted to DJ somewhere else, by all means, I say happy DJ makes a good DJ. Yeah. I look at it, you know, as long as as long as you my floor, I'm good. you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why
and
I had
good to get more experience, you know, like it's different crowds. Like Transit's crowd was different from Centra's, and Centra's was different from Jet, and you know, it's more experience for you to DJ at different venues than to be at the same place, because then you get caught up playing the same music every week. But like when I was doing the nightclubs, I was always on top of music. Like I wanted to play at least 10 new songs the next week, even if it was like just a remix of a track that's hot or whatever, you know. But yeah.
So I'm guessing, because if I'm not mistaken, when did you gravitate? Because if you start off with the CDs, when did you gravitate to computers?
So then, so you know, like I worked at Audio Line since I was like 18. I used to go there on Clark and Belmont, and I always used like I used to work for equipment. Like I just wanted the latest equipment all the time. So I remember Serato was doing like a world tour, and Audio Lines was the last stop, and they showed us the Scratch Live. Remember the box, the SO1?
Yes.
So they showed us that, and I was like, shit, dude, this thing is crazy. You don't even got to bring CDs. You know, you can just type the name of the song, you'll find it. So after the demo, they were like, what do you guys think about it? I was like, dude, I want it. And he's like, well, it's going to come out in the next 3 months. And then I was like, dude, can I just buy the one you have? And they're like, no, we can't. And, you know, blah, 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 blah. So then I kept insisting, and they were like, all right, look, I'm going to give it to you for the cost. He's like, but you got to promise me that you'll show it to all the DJs that come here. So I was like, done. So I was probably the first guy to have that Serato box here in Chicago. And I used to demo it to everybody. Flipside, Boogie Boy. They're all like, dude, you're crazy. Dude. Nobody's ever going to buy this. He's like, it's got a delay. You know, your computer's going to freeze. And everybody was super negative. And then, years later, every time I would see it, I was like, hey, bro, I thought Serato wasn't going to work. And then they're like, yeah, dude, this Serato's the best, dude.
Yeah, because I remember there was a transition, and even I was going through that whole issue because I think at that time when that Serato part came through, I think I had stopped DJing because I was doing CDs, like you were doing CDs.
Yeah.
And then it just became when the computer aspect of it, and I seen Serato and I seen virtual DJ, and it was like that whole thing. Um, I think I still was in the music industry because I was doing the promotion mostly, and then everybody DJ. But I would get that request: do you have a Serato box? Do you have the Serato box? Do you have the Serato? You know, that was the whole thing that most clubs were doing. That Serato box that they had,
Yeah.
that was kind of a standard.
Yeah.
But then obviously, working for Audio Line and working for all these other places, technology catches up. They start
Yeah.
changing things. It's
Mhm.
Serato box, I think, was what, good 5 years, and then
Yeah.
then the controllers came out.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
the controllers got smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they, I mean, when I was still DJing at nightclubs, the last one I got to use was the SL4, which was the one that 2 laptops can hook up.
Right.
So that one, the other DJ showed up, because before, when you had the SL1 and another guy would show up, you will have to take out one of the cables,
I know.
play the regular song so you can transition. It was crazy.
So no, it just as I tell a lot of people, remember, people on watching this, some people aren't DJs. So
Yeah.
please explain to me
Yeah.
them exactly what you have to do. So
So
let's do the
so a
scenario,
new
please.
DJ will show you're banging at the club. A new guy will get there. You had to take out one of the lines and plug it directly to the mixer, so you can play like a CD. So while you're playing the CD, the other guy, takes out the USB, plugs it to his computer, and then he can transition into his Serato.
Right.
So that was with SO1. But eventually, a lot of nightclubs kind of figured it out. They'll have like an auxiliary, like just hanging there, so you can play that CD or whatever you were gonna use.
Right, right. For
DJ.
that, and it takes like 30 seconds to a
Yeah,
minute to hook up. But
yeah,
it was that one song you had
yeah.
to
It's like, oh, dude, you better hurry up, bro. You got like a minute left.
because I always knew a new DJ because you guys were all behind the
Yeah.
mixer and like click, okay, go, click.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, those are fun times, Serato.
wow. So then the controllers came into effect, like this one, like this controller here. They
Yeah,
came in, then these controllers came in, the Denon and
yeah.
the Pioneer, they came in, and then
Mhm.
that kind of changed industry because it was all built in the controller now.
Yeah.
You didn't need the Serato box anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was the beauty of it,
yeah. Like when I was still like in the nightclub scenes, that wasn't out yet. SO4 was the latest thing at the time.
Right,
Well, it was around. I stopped DJing in nightclubs exactly in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, my last residencies were at Ohm on North and Damon, and I was doing Green Dolphin as well.
And that was with
Well, One World Chicago.
well, yeah, it's the Seguras
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was big. I mean, that
Yeah.
was big. I remember that was big because
That was my favorite place. So I got to DJ at a lot of places when I was doing nightclubs, but to me that place Ohm was my favorite, even though it was the worst setup because you had to climb that ladder to get to the DJ booth upstairs. I don't know if you remember that.
So just in case people don't know Ohm, that was called, what was
Red
this
Dog.
called before?
Red Dog.
Right. It was called
Yeah.
Red Dog before. So just in case people don't.
Yeah.
So,
The Red Dog scene was like all the house scene. Like I
Right.
think they had it on Wednesdays or something like that. And that was the popular name for that nightclub at the time.
well, it was Mondays actually was
Oh,
Boom Boom Room.
Boom Boom Room and Green
Yeah.
Dolphin. Yeah.
Right. And then obviously Boom Boom Room moved over to Green Dolphin then.
Yeah.
And it was One World that have it on Friday and Saturday. Sydney
Yeah.
had on Friday. I think
Saturday,
right.
it was me, Andy Lopez, and Flipside every Friday and Saturday.
Were you in the front room or in the back room or in the main room?
I was in the main room. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll switch on and off. Like I'll open up 10 to 12, and then I'll do the 12 to 2. But Flipside used to always do the 3 to close.
Nice.
So-
Nice. Okay.
That was
So I think at that time I was busy doing my thing because I think I had 720 at the time. I think that was why it
yeah.
was tough for me to be always everywhere. I think I would pop in every so often
Hmm.
to say hello to people. You know,
So
that was
right
it.
after V5, like I remember I got suspended one time from V5 because I was like fucking 30 minutes late at Centra. Because I don't know if you remember, but that's when V5 got Centra, it was like the craziest place. Like if you didn't know anybody, you were not gonna get in unless you were in line like at 10 o'clock.
Right.
So but Centra opened up at 9 o'clock, but nobody shows up to a nightclub in Chicago at 9 o'clock. You
Right.
know, so I got there was nobody there, but Pablo Rossi, I don't know if you know Pablo Rossi. He's like, bro, I gotta suspend you, bro, for showing up 30 minutes late. And dude, that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, dude. And after that, I was like, after he suspended me, I kind of like started talking to other friends. And Curious George, he's like, bro, I got a spot at 720. And that's another time I saw you. So I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah. So then I quit B5. I went to 720, and then I was in the first room with Aura for
Right.
like
Right.
I think I was there for like probably like 4 months. And then right around that time, Frankie V and Julio Sierra ended up getting Mannequin Thursdays.
Right. I remember
And
that.
then he hits me up. And since I was at 720, I didn't have no restrictions. I could go wherever I want. So I went to Mannequin. And then I remember I finished DJing, and Julio Sierra's like, yo, hey, bro, the Segura brothers want to meet you. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I go up to him, like, what's up? He's like, oh man. He's like, dude, you snap. He's like, where do you DJ at? And I was like, oh, I'm at 720 on Saturdays, but that's it. And they're like, cancel that. I need you Friday and Saturday. So then I stopped DJing at 720, and then I moved over to with these guys, with the Segura brothers.
Right. And then I think that's when 720 was on the downfall because I think
Yeah,
then they moved to Republic. That's kind of
yeah,
when everybody moved to Republic, and I remember
yeah,
that was it was kind of in between because I know Green Dolphin was going into a situation as well because
yeah.
they were doing something and again they went with
One
not no it was after One World. I think they did it with uh
unit,
it was a unit, and I think it was with what's his name. Um,
Eddie Perez.
it was what Eddie Perez, but no, it was Eddie Perez, and I think it was Sydney. They did it with
Oh,
Sydney as well. They did it Sydney as well, and and I remember Republic. I would go to Republic, and the guys were doing and all you guys, and I say all you guys because after 720, I kind of went strictly into the Latin market.
yeah.
You guys were competing for each other.
Yeah,
It was between Republic, between Green Dolphin and V5 doing, they had their lounges and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even get involved, messing around with that because it got too much craziness.
yeah,
Because everybody was stealing DJs or they were, competing with the same crowd and stuff like that. They were dealing with because that was, and I was talking to Luis Segura, and obviously Luis Segura was over there, and we're talking about that crowd was the younger professionals, Latinos were starting to get the younger professionals, and that's was hot at the time. And I
yeah.
remember that was, and everybody, and I say Latinos because that was the 25 to 35-year-olds that were going out, and
Hmm.
they were just hitting all the places they were going out, and everybody was trying to attract that crowd to somewhere. That's why you were there. That's why they wanted you because they seen that. Okay, well, you played that Mannequin, obviously, because the Mannequin had that same kind of crowd.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
that. It was that crowd. So it was cool. Um, when you stopped, you said you stopped doing in 2010. Is that
2010, yeah.
2010? What was the reason why you stopped?
The main reason why I stopped was because maybe like late 2008, I got into fitness a lot, and that was like my passion in that time, and I was still DJing, but like when you're in a nightclub scene, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was there, like I had to drink. I was smoking cigarettes, like
Mm,
I was going to,
the dark side.
yeah. After the club, like, oh dude, I'm starving, let's go. And Flash Tacos was across the street from home, or what's that diner place on Ashland and North Avenue? I mean, I didn't get home till like 6 in the morning every weekend. But
And you were married too, right?
yeah, and I was married as well. And what should I call it? So when I started getting into this fitness industry, I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking. Um, I sometimes I will be like, hey, can I open up next week so I didn't stay up too late? And they're like, no, dude, you're gonna be on from 12 to 2:30. And so I was like, all right, cool. And the thing about like Segura Brothers is like Raul was there. I don't know, you remember Raul? He was part of them, Raul and Manny. So I'll finish DJ, they'll pay me. I'm like, all right, I'm out. So I didn't stay anymore. And like since I wasn't drinking, you see the club atmosphere different. Everybody's like at 100 and I was like at 1. I was like, all right, dude, what the hell are these guys doing and shit? So but then in 2009 my wife got pregnant, and we had our daughter in 2010. And since
Oh,
I
well,
had
that
my
was
daughter, that kind of like changed me a lot. So fitness and my daughter, that was like, all right, I stopped DJing. So
so you stopped DJing, but you still were working with the equipment, right? You were
yeah,
still
yeah,
working.
yeah. No, I
You're still
actually,
working.
so between 2010 and like 2014, I became a personal trainer.
Mm,
I worked at
okay.
Export, and that's all I did, just personal training. I'll start like at
Okay.
6 in the morning to like 7 p.m., just training people and helping them, meet their goals and stuff like that. Um, I got, man, I'll send you some pictures, but man, I helped out a lot of people. Like, they'll be like, I can't lose weight or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you can, but I gotta hold you accountable to it. So then they'll get personal training sessions with me, and I'll make sure they were eating right. I'll make sure that they were getting to the gym. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I just got out of work and I'm kind of tired, and now you gotta come. So they're like, all right. And at the end of the day, most of the people are like, man, if it wasn't for you, I would have never, got to my goals and stuff like that. But eventually I came back to the DJ gear equipment.
That, and that was what, after
That
2015,
was
was that?
probably like I probably came back like around 2015.
I,
I want to say.
so were you part-time DJing during the time, or did you not touch anything at all? Did you?
Dude, I didn't do anything like for like 6 years.
Okay.
And the only reason I came back to DJing was because I remember I was at work and one of my friends hits me up and he's like, "Hey, dude, I need you to, I need you to help me DJ at a wedding." And I'm like, "Bro, I haven't DJed in like fucking like 15 years at a wedding or anything like that." He's like, "Dude, they're so easy." He's like, "Dude," he's like, "I'll give you the music." He's like, "Lewis told me that you know how to mix," so he's like, "Dude, it's not gonna be hard." So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll do it. So I did it. And sure enough, a wedding is so easy to do. It's like, so from 6 to 7 is cocktail hour. From 7 to 9, they have the dinner and then they do the dances and all that. And at the end of the day, it's just like an hour and a half left for the party. And that's where you get to play. And most of the people are waiting for the music at that time. And it's super
Right.
easy. So then I started. I was like, dude, if you got any more of those gigs, I'm down to do them. And then he got me more, and then eventually, I started working with my friend Alexander. He has a DJ company, but then I started working with Rocco Mix too because he has Pink Noise.
Right, right, right.
So I banged out a lot of parties with these guys, like weddings, quinceañeras, corporate events, and then eventually I liked it, so I started getting my own equipment, and that's it. That's all I do now. I was doing like tilted kilt. One of my friends, Jerry. I used to DJ there on Friday. So, you know, cause like weddings and all those parties, they kind of end like in October. Like there's
Which Celtic Kilt were you at?
the one on Tui and Cicero. Oh no, Tui
Okay, yeah.
by the Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. That's
Well, the Crown Theater is right next door.
right.
So
Okay.
I mean, it was nice, you know, because you keep practicing, you know, on the off season, and it was just fun. Like they show UFC fights, and I'm big in mixed martial arts, so I get to play music there and watch the fights for free.
Right. In fact, they contacted me in January of. No.
Yeah, he told me.
Yeah, he contacted me and they were trying to talk to me. And the one thing that I've been in this business long enough, I can talk to you about everything about the business, what
Yeah,
works, what doesn't work. I think my success is when I talk to owners, tell them the facts. I
yeah,
don't bullshit. I don't tell anybody that, hey, you know what, I can promise you the world. I tell them exactly what it is. And I says, if you're looking for, and I tell, that's why for me, me and you, I've talked stories about, I always tell owners, give me your slowest night.
yeah.
Because
I'll
I'm going to
turn
make
it
your
down.
slowest night. I always tell them, give me your slowest night. And that
Mhm.
was what I told them at Tilted Kill.
Yeah,
I forgot the
Jerry,
manager's name, Jerry.
Jerry and
He was
Edwin.
like, and I said, give me Monday. And I was like, tell him, give me Monday. And he was like, then he kind of like rethinked it, and he's like, he was like, yeah. So I mean, and then we were, I think it was just right before, and that was, I think it was just before Christmas. And I says, if this is going to happen, this is going to happen in February. Let's not do. It was right. I even talked about it because I says, let the Salsa Congress go by,
Mhm.
because this is, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
saying, and
that's
then
the main gig.
and then I says, after the Salsa Congress, then the winter goes away. Let's start this in March, and this is where it's going to work out well. But then COVID hits, and I'm sure that was the last thing I was thinking about doing on
Yeah.
Monday, and then everything else and stuff like that. But I know with you, you're doing all these weddings now. That must have affected you quite a bit as well, because you must have been
All
booked.
I think I had about 16 gigs for this year, and I'm only doing one, and that's in August 8th, and it was supposed to be in Chicago, and they moved it to Indiana
Ah,
so they can have just a little bit more people, because I guess over there is different. Uh, but he's like, I'm gonna pay you for a travel fee. I was like, all right.
right.
Otherwise, I would have been like, I'll just wait till next year, because we had contracts and stuff like that. But I mean, I didn't get any cancels. Everything got moved to 2021. But who knows what's gonna happen then? You know?
Right. And I just seen an article today. I sent it to a couple of people for Variety magazine. I forgot what's his name. A big article about they're expecting that any live events, 2022 is what they're talking about. And it's just, and there was another article that again was focused on the Metro and live entertainment. They talking the same thing. They're saying they'll look for 2022. And so with this whole thing is scary as well.
Yeah.
So did, now that you get put to a halt in March, as far as your mobile date, are you're live streaming now, or what are you doing now?
Yeah. So me, Aura, and Fidel, we came up with this thing called Mixport, and we created a page, and we're kind of like me and Aura are doing Tuesdays. We do all house music on Tuesday. And then it changes. We'll have some Latin. We'll have throwbacks on Thursdays. We'll do like lunch hours, and then like guest DJs every week. We've had some good DJs. We have DJ Rican. We had DJ LED, Julio Sierra. What was it we had so far? Trying to think. Or Junior Lopez. But yeah, we're keeping consistent with that every week, and just playing some new tunes. I just did an open format for the first time last week, because normally I was just playing house music, and for my birthday on last Wednesday, I was like, you know what? I don't know, last Tuesday, I was like, I'm just gonna play a little bit of everything. So I kind of switched it up, but Yeah, man, that page has been doing good. That one, the last Tuesday one, I got up to 1.4 viewers, and man, it's good. You know.
What about the Facebook algorithms and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Have
no.
they?
So what we do, like, I'm not used to this, but you got to talk a lot. Like I'm
Well,
always
wait, I
looking.
thought you did talk a lot.
Yeah,
What are you
no,
talking
see
about?
that's what happened when I started. So when I first started, I used to like doing that, but then when I stopped and I just started DJing, I'm like, I became shy, dude. I never talked on the mic anymore until I started doing weddings and all this stuff.
Right.
I brought it back. So now, like when I'm live streaming, I'm keeping an eye on the phone and I see who's tuning in, and like some people will joke around and stuff like that. So I say that on the mic and stuff like that.
Right.
So
So I
that,
mean,
but I have gotten kicked out
I
from
was gonna
Facebook.
say because I think that's I don't know if you Manny I asked you if you ever seen this um, March when March 18th when we stopped this April 1st from April 1st to April 13th I was doing what's called the lunchtime mix. I was doing that and I was doing live streaming every day from 12 o'clock until 1 o'clock. That was
Hmm.
the goal.
Yeah.
And I got frustrated with this whole getting stopped by Facebook.
Hmm.
And because I'm doing Latin now, it's even Latin is even more so
Yeah.
quicker. I
Yeah.
mean, you're lucky if you get away with 20 minutes
Yeah.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
they'll cut you and stuff like that. Because BMI and Universal, man,
Yeah.
because
No,
all the
it's
stuff is licensed stuff like that. Even talking, it doesn't stop it. And that's every DJ, unless you get obscure music and obscure
unless
music
you
for Latin
made
music is not.
it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
even
And
house
even some
music,
guys,
like yeah, even the house music, like now we're planning on having like a second, like maybe like an iPad, because Facebook does start warning you, like, hey, dude, you're playing this, you better cut it or we're gonna cut you. So we're gonna have an iPad now to keep an eye on that. But if you talk a lot, like if you what I found that works is that if you lower the volume at 100 and you just say, la la la, so shout out to DJ Prieto, and then you bring it back, it kind of throws that rhythm off. So that's been working a lot. But still, man, it only takes one song to get cut off.
I know. Trust me. So I got frustrated, and then I created the show
Yeah,
because I didn't want to do the live streaming. And honestly, I didn't want to do the live streaming because for me it was like it just and then this doesn't get cut off
yeah,
obviously.
right, yeah,
We're not playing music and stuff like that, but and then at the same time, what was cool about it is that people discover, they may have heard you on the turntables for 2 hours, but they don't know you, Manny. They don't know where you
yeah,
came from, how you started, and stuff like that. So it gives opportunity for all the people that that
yeah,
that see you live stream, that have known you do mixing, know you from Green Dolphin, from Jet, or they know, hey man, this is what it was. So what do you think your direction is going to be with what you were doing? What, what do you think is going to happen with
with
you from this
with
point forward?
with like the DJ services, you mean, or
Yeah, the DJ services.
man, that's all just waiting time, I guess. Like I don't see it happening this year for sure. Like unless it's like like going to Indiana, because I talked to some of my other friends that do kind of like the similar thing, and one of my other friends, J Funk, he was telling me that he had a wedding, so they had 50 people in the morning, so it was all family, and then they had to leave, and then later on in the evening, another 50 would come, so like the friends, and that's where like the party will get started. But I just don't see it. I try to picture it, and like I guess like the only way like it'll work is if what you want to call it, if you call a table like, hey, table 7, it's time, is your turn to dance, what song you want or something, because you can't have the whole dance floor packed
Right,
there,
right.
unless you want to get in trouble, I guess.
Well, yeah,
So
and there are people that are getting in trouble
yeah, no, I seen like videos of parties, and dude, they're like nothing. I mean, I couldn't go to one of those.
well, I mean, you also have your daughter and your wife
Yeah,
and stuff like that, so you got to be cautious as well. So
yeah,
you don't want to, and then I'm seeing online. I just seen two DJs that passed from COVID just this past week. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
yeah, just one in the Sonidero scene as well,
yeah.
and one
Oh
another.
yeah, I just saw that one of my friends
Uh,
posted that he died.
uh,
He died. The guy that
yeah,
died. Yeah,
Chicky
Kiki.
Mix.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
That's
And
crazy,
then
man.
another guy from Orlando who in Florida, he was big in the uh, the bachata scene and stuff like that. So
Oh
he had passed away as well. But I mean, and then I know guys that got sick, and but home. That's the truth. So I mean,
yeah, no,
you
like
know,
like when the lockdown hit, I literally didn't leave my house. Like I would just go to the back to leave because I have three dogs, so I'll take them outside, and I'm like, you're not walking anytime soon, so we just hang out outside, and then we will come back in, and eventually, like when one of my cousins sits me up, he's like, hey, dude, I want to buy a Harley. So I was like, shit, dude, I didn't want to leave my house. So I was like, well, let me hit up my friend, see if he's at the Harley store. So he was there. So I'm driving there, man, and I see like all Wrigleyville, there's just people walking around, no mask. And I was like, man, is it that serious or am I exaggerating? So then I kind of started going out to the store because I was even doing what's that where you place your orders online? Instacart, I think. I wasn't
right,
even going
right,
to the
right.
grocery store. I was just buying stuff on Instacart and having delivered. Dude, I was pretty paranoid about all that stuff.
Right. I would think with you having been personal trainer and being health wise and stuff like that, you got to be pretty healthy. I mean, that's
Yeah,
I don't
so
think you have any. Yeah,
that's
you don't
another
have no.
thing. Like when I started DJing 2 years ago, I kind of like put that on the side, and I got back to the DJ life. I got, you don't have time. I'm drinking, having a cigarette on the weekend. So I kind of got back into that again, and I gained some weight. So now I just got to learn how to balance it because that it's tough, man. Like and now like it's hard like because I was doing workouts at home, but I mean that can only take you so far and it gets boring and stuff like that. But I don't see myself going to the gym anytime soon either because it's crazy.
That's good. Oh,
I
well,
can't even
I
wear the
mean, that's
mask.
no, no. In fact, there's people. In fact, what did the mayor stop people? You can only have what, six people or something like
Yeah,
that in a gym now. It's
yeah.
like
I
dumb.
went
I mean, it's
last
like
week to buy multivitamins at the gym where I used to work at, and just to kind of like scope it out, see what's going on in there. I mean, it looks like they're following the rules, but at the end of the day, if like at the time that I'll be able to go to the gym, dude, it's gonna be packed. They're gonna have at
right.
least 50, 60 people there. So I don't know, like yeah, like you said, like I have a daughter. She's only 10, so uh the thing that freaked me out mostly about COVID was like that thing when they were saying like if somebody ends up having to go to the hospital, only the sick person can go, and nobody can go with them. So I'm thinking like shit, if my daughter gets that and I can't go with her, that would kill me.
Right,
So
right. Well, it's scary. It's a scary situation.
yeah,
And so, I mean, so the live streaming, you said, and that's you, Aura, doing the live streaming now, and that's
including
and who else is
Junior
there? Who,
Junior Lopez.
Junior Lopez. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're gonna. I mean, but you're staying relevant, basically in the scene.
Yeah, like
So that's what.
like right now doing the live streams, I'm just trying to have fun, like play like stuff that I normally don't play at weddings and quinceañeras or like at the restaurant scenes and stuff like that. So I never get the chance to do that. Only if I do it at home, because house music, you gotta be like super big time to be banging it at a nice venue where they only listen to that kind of music.
But are you? But you're not working with Gear Club. You're
Oh
not
yeah,
working with.
yeah, I'm still at Gear Club. Yeah, yeah. So it's right now it's Lewis, Junior, and Aura. We're all there right now.
Okay. I was going to say because I know that I don't know if you've seen. I'm talking to Shannon and Steve So Curly, and
Hmm.
most of the guys now they're creating. I guess they're doing more studio work now,
Yeah,
and I know that's what seems to be the direction. I think that's what's happening with DJs now is because they're kind of changing because they're kind of stuck at home. If you really think about it, um, people who are producers and studio DJs, they work in isolation anyway because they're
Yeah.
working in a studio setting. So they're doing everything in a studio, and
Mhm.
they really don't need to be outside. And everything is done on the internet, passing out tracks and doing stuff like that. Have you ever done any studio work before? Have you ever?
No, the only, I mean, I do have all the gear to do that kind of thing. But I never really got into like making music or anything like that. Most of I only run Ableton Live. So what I do with Ableton is mostly like pre-made mixes. So let's say I
Okay.
want to do like a house mix, I'll do it on Ableton, and I'll put it on my SoundCloud. But like making music wise, I never really got into it. And I was just saying one of my friends, I was like, dude, if I can go back to 15 instead of being a DJ, I would have became a producer better.
Well, that's what I'm seeing. That's kind of the direction that I'm seeing a lot of DJs going into now.
Yeah.
Only because of the fact that it's kind of the other option because and then I know there's another world out there when it comes
Yeah.
to music, and not just here in Chicago, but it's worldwide. You go
Yeah.
worldwide with it. So that's where I mean even I did studio work at one time. I had my Juno 101, had an
No.
808 that I had,
Yeah.
and I was doing everything MIDI, and I was doing that, and this used to be my studio. This whole place used to be my studio, and I had all equipment here, and I got rid of it, and it was because it wasn't my drive, it wasn't my love and stuff like that. And then then the mixtapes came in. This was way before my mixtape, and I was doing and then obviously just like you do Ableton Live, I was using Deck.
You're
That
using
was
the
what
heat
I
track.
was using back then. No, no,
Nice.
no. It was called Deck. It was the
Oh,
program
it's called
called
that?
Deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a Deck. It was Deck too. So it's just really easy and stuff like that. And started doing remixes with that. And that's what I started. I started making remixes and Latin remixes.
Nice.
But that was kind of the direction I was going, only because of the fact that the necessity of it. And I'm hearing more and more DJs going into that. So like I was talking to, like I said, Steve Silcurley, Shannon, DJ Cobonito, and all these guys that I've been talking to, is that seems to be the direction that a lot of DJs are going to, is going back to what I guess a lot of DJs did studio work before. And I
Yeah.
guess that's what they're doing more so and stuff like that. So that may be the direction that, I think you're going to see the scene going into, creating your own music, and because we got time.
Yeah. Seriously, like I learned so many things during quarantine that I never did before. Just because you have all the time in the world.
Including Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom. Yeah, that was the first one because my sister was pregnant, and she ended up doing her gender reveal on Zoom. So like we had the whole family there, and I was like, all right, pop that thing already. Let's see what it is. So yeah,
And
but
then, and
Zoom,
then,
Zoom is
and then
fun.
obviously, because your daughter's 10 years old,
Yeah,
the school system
yeah,
it changed as well. So that's going to be a whole Zoom thing as well.
yeah.
So I
We're
mean,
doing every day at 11 Zoom.
so this whole online aspect of it is where the industry now. I mean, what we're doing online and what we're doing right now, it's the whole
Yeah.
industry. We're in those constraints that we're dealing with right now. Do you
Mhm.
think that the nightclub business, or should I say the DJ business, the DJ world, is going to have some sort of internet aspect of it in the future?
I think so, man. I think like I was even thinking like man, it's cool. Like the whole live thing is cool. Like, even if you want to like promote, like let's say I'm at a wedding and I'll go live and show that other people that don't know me that we get the dance floor packed, everybody's having fun, show kind of like what you do at one of those parties, and I'm pretty sure that can get you more business and stuff like that. I never did that. Like I have so many friends that they'll be like, hey, why don't you go live when you're doing the wedding? Or like, and I'm like, I don't like to like show off, or like not like showing off like as I'm doing, but like kind of like show off that I'm doing parties, or what I would end up doing is I'll record a portion of the video, and then I'll come home and I'll go on iMovie and I'll play
like a mashup song of like some EDM, you know, like something that Facebook won't recognize, and then I'll create
Okay.
like a 45-second video of like the highlights of a party and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I'm definitely gonna try this live thing now, like you know, when we come back again, see how that.
Well, you think that you know Pablo Gonzalez, right? Pablo Punca Gonzalez, Julio, and all these guys. We're going to be DJing together for an event on August
Oh, I
2nd.
saw that. Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
silent disco.
yeah, the silent
Yeah,
picnic and stuff like that. And so you get the concept of what we're doing. So we're trying to do something that's social responsible. We're still
yeah,
trying to be responsible and stuff like that.
yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be a good turnout. It really does. I mean,
Is that what by Gear Club, right? Right there on Foster and
yes,
Cicero? That's where it's gonna be.
yes, down the street.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, I might
it's
have
down the
to check
street.
that out then.
You're
Yeah,
not,
no, I
you're
did
not,
one of those silent discos and man, like when I was DJing at Tilted Kilt, I kind of since we didn't have a monitor there, I kind of had to learn how to mix off my headphones. So by the time I got to do one of those silent discos, I was good because I knew, you know, like I didn't need a monitor. But then you take off the headphones and it's weird because everybody's dancing. There's no music going on. But it's a cool concept. I like it a lot.
well, I mean, because I did it already when we did outside, so I already know how to do this before, and we did it 2 years ago, and we did it for a different reason. It was because the neighbors were complaining about the sound being outside, and so to bypass that is why we did the headset.
The
And that was
headphones.
why we did it, and everybody thought it was a cool idea. They thought like, oh man, it was cool that you came up with this idea. I didn't
Yeah.
come up with the idea. I used the headphones to bypass a problem.
Right. Yeah, because you got to get permits. You got to bring
Right.
a lot of stuff you got to do.
Because being outside, you can't play music after a certain time.
Right.
So I did to bypass the whole because we didn't want getting caught by cops.
Yeah.
And so same thing I thought about this one. Wait a minute, I'm going to use the headphone thing to bypass this problem. But speakers and a monitor, and then people coming to a crowd because obviously when you're DJing, you have to have speakers and everybody's kind of in front of you, and that's creating a crowd in front of people. So if they're doing
Yeah.
with the headphones, that group of six can go over there, that group of six can go over there, that group of five, and
Yeah.
they're in their little bubbles of
So
friends.
everybody's gonna bring like you're gonna have a bunch of DJs at the same time, like in groups or
No, we have setups. Three because it's three because remember they have the three different colors.
right.
So everybody, Pablo and I, we already have the arrangement as far as times. So in the DJ setup, we have the three DJ setups, and it's spaced out 6 feet apart.
Mhm.
And then we have also three other tables behind us. So somebody wants to bring their own controller. They don't want to come near the connections.
Mhm.
I said, yeah, go ahead, just bring RCA cables that we can connect in. You can just play from behind us and stuff like that. So you don't have to be nowhere near us as well. We're gonna have the gloves. We're gonna have the mask. We're gonna have the sanitized cream and everything else as far as the DJ booth. But with the crowd, they're gonna be in like there's gonna be another section where they get the headphones from. They're not gonna be anywhere near us. They
Right.
get the headphones and then they get a spot. Here, there's flags. Whatever flags you see a flag, that's where your spot is at.
Yeah.
so that's how we keep that distance.
Are you guys doing the three different genres of music like
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have the dance music, we got the Latin music, and then we have the like R&B, kazumba, the slower tempo stuff like that. So that's
Yeah.
the three different genres of music.
Yeah,
So
no, those
it's gonna be
it was
fun.
pretty cool the one I did. It was like it was weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and I
gonna be
saw
cool.
that there was a big lineup for the one you're doing.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing because when I came up with this idea, like anything else, I reached out to Pablo and reached out to Stacy, who's one of the other guys that I work with, and I says, this has got to be universal. It can't be me and my little pocket of my group of people. It's got to reach out. So like Marco Hernandez is, DJ's kind of everything. Then Pablo got his guys that I know, and then Julio, then I know Julius Oliver, and then all these guys. They started
Yeah.
coming in, and then I have my other DJs that do the strictly Latin stuff as well, and then a couple guys that do the kazumba, R&B, step music. So I mean, that it just kind of worked out. It's just okay. This is going to work out pretty cool because trust me, you're going to be there and you're not going to be bored.
Yeah, you can go wherever.
Because you can switch.
Yeah,
The
seriously,
different-
that's like the best feature for like those picky people, you know.
Yeah, he was like,
They're hitting you up with a request. They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna tune it out. Switch.
No, but as I told the DJs, what you're going to try to do, because we're going to be able to see the colors that everybody's in, and what you're trying to do is, as a DJ, you're trying to compete with the other colors to make sure that everybody, if you see a group of people that have red on, and all of a sudden they see them jumping around, they're going, wait a minute, what color they have? Well, hold on, let me see what they're listening to. Click.
Yeah.
And that's
No,
that's how you compete.
Yeah. You gotta like even have to talk on the mic and be like, hey, I did like kind of like the old school, it was kind of like hip hop and like top 40-ish, but like older stuff. So
Right.
be like, hey, you guys tune into this song, and people be singing. It's pretty fun. It's
It's fun.
a good
Hey,
concept.
listen, we're coming up to. Thank you. Well, I mean, we had a bunch of people log in. Anything you want to say to people who've logged in and obviously going to watch this video?
Man, let's see who we have here. Oh, my guy Julio Sierra.
Yeah.
We got Cisco. That's my guy too. My wife. Oh, DJ Traco. Oscar Reyes. This guy helps me out a lot at all my events. He's always on the lookout. Randy, Leo, Urge. Oh shit. Abraham. But I mean, I wanted to send a shout out to all my guys that helped me, get to this, where I'm at. Julio Sierra, Hector Hotmix. That's one of my main guys too. He's the one that introduced me to Julio, and then we went from there.
So before you start thanking people, I forgot to ask you a question.
Yeah.
In your DJ career, what would you consider your top?
My top was like pretty much just top 40, and then I was playing hip hop, and I did
I'm talking about. I mean, talking about your best memory of what you've done in the DJ world. That what would you consider your?
Man, I just had a good memory right now. Like we had a party at Gear Club on Friday, and we did live streaming, and Rico Suave was there, Aura, Lewis, Junior, and we just started talking about all the memories, and back in the day, like my biggest memory was like, man, just packed dance floors. That was my highlight, like to see that kind of thing and everybody enjoying themselves and having fun. To me, that was everything. Like if it was a dead party, like, oh man, I gotta get the hell out of here. But that's not for me.
I'm just saying, any particular like event that you did, or was I mean obviously we all wanted a packed floor, but would you consider like this is the top of this is going to go down in my history books of the best.
And
best
to
time
be honest, man, there's a few of them. But I have to say DJing at home was my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Just because like it was a very diverse crowd, and I didn't have to play just a certain thing. It was everything. Like there was white people, there's black people, Latinos, Asian. So I got to do whatever I wanted there, and that's probably my favorite thing from when I was a DJ at a nightclub.
Very cool. Now go ahead, back to thanking your people.
Oh, my shout outs, my boy DJ Hera, DJ Torres, all those guys helped me out with all the mobile gigs. Julio Sierra, Hector Hotmix, and everybody in the industry that I know. I had a lot of, obviously, like, working at a DJ shop since I was 18, I practically probably know like 90% of DJs in Chicago. So shout out to all of them because, everybody in all the DJs in Chicago are good, man.
Yeah, we have a very talented city here. That's for sure. And every genre. in every
Yeah.
genre. It's
No,
not just not house music. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about in
and
every
that's the
genre.
craziest part also, that like house music is, it's hard. Like if anything, it should be easiest in Chicago, you know. But yeah, but
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
thank you for
Well,
having me.
thank you very much, Manny. No problem. I appreciate you jumping on,
Yeah.
and everybody else that jumped on. Don't forget, and then Manny, make sure to put on the bottom of the interview of all the links that you have as well. And
Yeah.
guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Appreciate it, Manny.
Thank you,
care.
man. Take care, bro. Have a good one. Bye.